One evening, as they sat across from each other in the kitchen, the silence felt heavy. Lola was preparing dinner, her movements stiff and mechanical. Dapo, seated at the counter, watched her carefully, his mind racing with 1,000 thoughts. "Lola, we need to talk," Dapo said suddenly, his voice low. She glanced up from the stove, her expression unreadable. "About what?" Dapo stood up, walking over to her. He placed his hand gently on her shoulder, his fingers lingering for a moment longer than necessary. "About us. About everything." Lola's breath caught in her throat, and for a moment, the words seemed to stop. She turned to face him, her heart pounding. "Dapo, we can't." "I know," he interrupted, his voice desperate. "But I can't stop thinking about you, Lola. Every day, every moment, it's like I'm drowning in this. I can't pretend anymore." Lola's heart ached. She had been trying to push him away, to bury her feelings, but every time she saw him, every time he spoke to her, the connection between them grew stronger. She had always known there was something about him, something magnetic, but now it was too much to ignore. "I don't know what we're doing, Dapo," she whispered, tears threatening to spill. "This is wrong. This whole thing, it's all wrong." Dapo cupped her face gently, his thumb brushing away a tear. "I don't care, Lola. I just want you." Their lips met again, this time more urgently than before. It was as if the kiss was the only thing that made sense in the chaos they had created. They had crossed the point of no return. Adewale's health became so critical that he was rushed to the hospital. Adewale lies on a grand bed at the hospital, his face pale but calm. Machines beep softly, tracking his vitals. Lola sits by his bedside, holding his frail hand, while Dapo stands at the window, staring out with a conflicted expression. Adewale, weakly. "Lola." "Dapo, come closer." Lola looks at Dapo, signaling him to approach. Reluctantly, he leaves the window and moves to the other side of the bed. "Adewale talking, I've spent my life building a legacy. But in the end, what matters is family." He pauses, catching his breath. "I've made mistakes, but my intentions were always to protect both of you." Lola's eyes well up, and she grips his hand tighter. Dapo looks down, guilt flickering in his eyes. "Lola, softly, you've done so much for us, Adewale. Please rest." Adewale, shaking his head. "Not yet. I want you both to look after each other and be there for each other. The secret of every family is the bond of love." "Dapo, strain Dad, don't talk like that. You're not going anywhere." Adewale smiles faintly, his gaze softening as he looks at his son. "Dapo, you've grown more than I thought possible. Take care of her, and yourself." His breathing grows shallow, and his hand slackens in Lola's grip. The beeping from the machine slows until it becomes one long, continuous tone. Lola gasps, tears streaming down her face. Dapo clenches his fist, his jaw tightening as he struggles to contain his emotions. "Lola," whispering, "he's gone." Lola sits on a couch, her eyes red from crying. Dapo stands stiffly beside her, trying to maintain a stoic demeanor as guests offer their condolences. Family matriarch, Adewale's sister, speaking. "It's a great loss. Adewale was a pillar of this family, this community, but his legacy lives on in you, Dapo." Dapo nods mechanically, his mind elsewhere. Across the room, whispers circulate about the unusual dynamics of the family. A guest, Madam Comfort, whispering. "Did you hear? The CEO married his secretary. Strange, isn't it?" Another guest, Madam Judith, said. "So strange, yes, I heard of it, but he must have had his reasons. That man never did anything without a plan." Lola overhears the murmurs and shifts uncomfortably, guilt and unease clouding her expression. She glances at Dapo, who avoids her gaze. The room grows silent as the family matriarch stands to address the crowd. Family matriarch. Thank you all for coming to honor my brother, Adewale. He was a man of vision, strength, and heart. We will hold a formal memorial service later, but for now, let us remember him with love and respect. After the funeral, one day Lola received a call from Adewale's lawyer. He had scheduled a meeting with her to discuss some legal matters regarding his will. Lola's heart sank as she made her way to the lawyer's office, her mind racing with dread. When she arrived, the lawyer handed her an envelope sealed with Adewale's signature. Inside, she found a letter and a video recording. The letter was brief but to the point. Lola, if you are reading this, then I am no longer here. I want you to watch the video with Dapo. It's time for both of you to understand why I married you and what I hope to achieve. Don't be afraid to face the truth. It's the only way to heal this family. Lola's hands shook as she held the envelope. She felt her stomach twist, her thoughts spiraling. What had Adewale known? What had he planned? That evening, Lola and Dapo sat together in the living room, the video player in front of them. Neither of them spoke as the recording began. At the living room, Lola and Dapo sit side by side on a leather couch. Dapo hesitates before pressing play on the video file labeled For Dapo and Lola. The screen flickers to life, and Adewale appears, seated in the very study they are in now. Adewale, speaking from the video. If you're watching this, it means I'm no longer with you. Lola shifts nervously, while Dapo leans forward, his eyes fixed on the screen. Adewale, speaking from the video. I know the two of you have had your differences, plenty of them. But I saw something in both of you that neither of you could see in yourselves. He pauses, his expression serious. Adewale, speaking from the video. Dapo, you needed grounding, focus, and someone to challenge you to be better. Lola, you needed someone to show you that love and partnership could be found in the most unexpected places. That's why I married Lola, to prepare both of you for what's to come. Dapo and Lola exchange shocked glances, their breathing shallow. Adewale, speaking from the video. You're not just my family, you're my hope for this company and for the legacy I've built. But you need to work together, not against each other. Find common ground, forgive past mistakes, and move forward, as partners. I married Lola and have never touched her as my wife. I know a day will come that you will have desire for each other. I married you, Lola, not out of love, but out of necessity. When I first met you, I saw a woman who could help me protect my son, a woman who could be a mother, a sister and a wife to him when I could not. Dapo, for all his intelligence, has always been reckless, selfish, and blind to what truly matters. I knew that only you could help him see the truth. Lola's eyes widened, her chest tightening. She glanced at Dapo, who was visibly shaken. I married you because I saw in you the strength and wisdom to guide Dapo. Adewale, still on video. Dapo, I noticed all your relationship moves, both from your first kiss till when you get down with each other. Lola has never lied to me once, but the day her expression were filled with lies I knew she had crossed the line. But that was the lie I have wished to hear from her. It's so fortunate that my will was to both of you as a couple and not individual. After watching the video, the lawyer will present you with the will. I wish you both best of luck in your newfound life. The video ends, leaving the room in heavy silence. Lola clasps her hands tightly in her lap, while Dapo exhales sharply, running a hand through his hair. Dapo, softly. He knew everything. And he still trusted us to make it right. Is that why he never let me be in his bed? He always give me excuses each time I want to be in bed with him. That's what led me to. She cut her speech. Lola said. They both sit in silence, the weight of Adewale's final words sinking in. Their dynamic has shifted yet again, but this time, there's an unspoken understanding between them. The days after watching the video were some of the hardest of Lola and Dapo's lives. The truth, so carefully hidden by Adewale, had unraveled everything they had believed about their relationship. The foundation of their lives had been shaken to its core. And now, the task before them was almost too much to bear: reconcile the past, face the present, and move forward, knowing the unthinkable bond they shared. For the first time in weeks, Lola and Dapo spoke to each other openly. The weight of their silence had been crushing, but now the floodgates had opened. As the days passed, their conversations were filled with questions, regrets, and newfound understanding. Lola had never imagined that her marriage to Adewale, one built on obligation and the belief that she could help guide his son, would lead to such a complicated web of emotions. She had, for so long, seen Dapo as a spoiled, reckless young man, someone who was too lost in his own desires to care for anyone else. But the truth was, Adewale had been right. Dapo needed someone, and it was Lola who had the strength to teach him what truly mattered: family, responsibility, and love. But how could they reconcile the twisted path they had walked? How could they erase the stains of their past mistakes? One evening, Lola found herself in the same kitchen where Dapo had kissed her months ago. It felt like a lifetime ago, yet the emotions were still fresh, still raw. She was preparing dinner when Dapo entered, his face more tired than usual. There was something different in the air between them, no longer filled with tension, but a deep, unspoken understanding. "I've been thinking," Dapo began, his voice uncertain, "about everything we've done, everything we've been through. I don't know what the future holds, but I can't pretend that nothing happened." He paused, then added softly, "And neither can you." Lola turned around, her heart pounding. She didn't know if she was ready to face him, to face their feelings head-on. But she knew they had to do it. The truth had already changed them, and there was no going back. "I'm sorry," she said quietly, her eyes meeting his. "I never wanted any of this. I never imagined that I would find myself here, with you, Dapo. But we can't keep pretending it didn't happen." Dapo stepped closer, his eyes searching hers. "Then what do we do now? How do we fix this?" Lola swallowed hard. "We start by accepting that things can't go back to the way they were. We have to move forward, together, and figure out what that means. It's going to be difficult, but we owe it to ourselves, and to Adewale, to try." Dapo nodded, his expression one of quiet determination. "I don't know how we do this, but I want to try. I want to make things right." The next day, they gathered for what was the most difficult conversation of all. It wasn't just the two of them anymore, it was the entire family. Dapo and Lola had decided that they needed to be honest with everyone, to let them know the truth, even if it meant risking everything they had. When they sat down with the rest of the family, the air was thick with anticipation. Adewale's absence left a void that could never be filled, but it also made the moment more charged with emotion. Each of them was unsure how to react, how to accept the truth they had been forced to confront. "I know this is difficult for all of you," Dapo began, his voice shaky but strong. "But Lola and I," he stopped himself, gathering his thoughts. "We've been through a lot. And the truth is, we've been hiding from it for too long. We both made mistakes, and now we need to face the consequences." Lola's hands trembled in her lap as she spoke next. "We owe it to you, to Adewale's memory, to be honest. We're not asking for forgiveness, but we need you to understand that this, whatever this is between Dapo and I, it happened because we were both lost. We were both searching for something that we didn't know how to find. And now we have to find a way to move forward. Together." The room was silent. No one knew how to respond, not at first. But eventually, it was Adewale's sister, the family matriarch, who spoke up. She was the first to break the silence. You both have a lot of work to do, she said, her voice firm but not unkind. But we all make mistakes. The important thing now is to show the world that you can make things right. For yourself. For Adewale's legacy. The family didn't fully understand, and some were still too hard to forgive, but they could see the genuine remorse in Lola and Dapo's eyes. Slowly, they began to accept that the path to healing wasn't going to be easy, but it was possible. As the weeks passed, Lola and Dapo worked tirelessly to rebuild their lives. They couldn't undo what had been done, but they could start anew, slowly and carefully. They agreed to take things one step at a time, not rushing into anything, but learning to trust each other again. Dapo moved into his own apartment, which allowed him some space to breathe. The tension between him and Lola started to ease, and they began to spend time together again, only this time, it was different. They were no longer driven by forbidden attraction. Instead, they sought a quiet, steady friendship that would eventually grow into something stronger, more genuine. They took long walks in the park, went to the movies together, and even shared quiet dinners at their favorite restaurant. But this time, there was no rush, no burning desire to escape the weight of their emotions. Instead, they focused on rebuilding the foundation of their relationship, honesty, trust, and a shared vision of the future. Months later, when the wounds had started to heal and their lives were moving forward, Lola and Dapo decided to visit Adewale's grave. It had been a long and difficult journey, but they had come to a place where they could accept the truth. As they stood at the grave, the wind blowing gently through the trees, Lola placed a single white rose on the tombstone. "I'm sorry, Adewale," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I never wanted to hurt you. I never wanted any of this. But we're trying. We're trying to make things right." Dapo stood beside her, his hand resting on her shoulder. "We'll make you proud, Dad," he said softly, his voice full of emotion. "We'll find our way." And with that, they stood in silence, knowing that the road ahead would be challenging, but they had the strength to face it together. The workplace was abuzz with whispers and stolen glances as the news of Dapo and Lola's relationship spread like across the whole building. For weeks, their affair had been the subject of hushed conversations and sly grins among their colleagues, but when their impending marriage became public knowledge, the office exploded with speculation. Dapo, once known as the reckless playboy who had a different woman on his arm every week, had become a man transformed. His demeanor shifted to one of quiet confidence, and his focus on the company's goals became razor-sharp. He no longer showed up late or missed meetings, and his interactions with Lola, now his fiancée, were professional but tinged with an undeniable warmth. Lola, too, carried herself with grace and composure, though she couldn't help but notice the sidelong glances from her peers. Some of her co-workers were supportive, while others couldn't hide their judgment, but Lola had long learned to rise above gossip. She was focused on her work and on building a future with Dapo. Their relationship, though unconventional and born out of chaos, had blossomed into something genuine. At work, they maintained clear boundaries, avoiding overt displays of affection during office hours. However, their chemistry was palpable, and everyone could see that the dynamic duo was now aligned, both in their personal lives and in their professional pursuits. When the day of their wedding arrived, it was nothing short of a spectacle. The event was held at one of Lagos's most luxurious venues, with dignitaries, celebrities, and industry leaders in attendance. The wedding was a grand celebration, blending traditional Nigerian culture with modern sophistication. Lola wore a breathtaking white gown adorned with intricate beadwork that paid homage to her heritage, while Dapo looked dashing in a custom-tailored tuxedo. The ceremony was emotional, with heartfelt vows that brought tears to the eyes of everyone present. The couple promised to support and cherish one another, acknowledging the trials they had faced and the love that had grown from them. As they exchanged rings, the crowd erupted in applause, and the newlyweds shared a kiss that symbolized not just their love but also their resilience. The reception was an unforgettable affair, with live music, traditional dances, and speeches from loved ones that celebrated their journey. The highlight of the evening was a surprise video tribute to Adewale, played on a massive screen. The video, compiled from family memories, reminded everyone of the late CEO's wisdom and love for his family. Lola and Dapo stood hand in hand as they watched, tears streaming down their faces. They knew that Adewale's dream for them had finally come true. Returning to the office as husband and wife was an adjustment for both Dapo and Lola, but they embraced it with grace. The power dynamic between them had shifted. They were now equals, partners in life and in business. Their shared vision for the company became a driving force, and their complementary skills brought new energy to the workplace. Their colleagues quickly adapted to the new normal. While some joked about the office power couple, most respected the boundaries Dapo and Lola had set. They kept their personal lives separate from their professional roles, focusing on growing the company and fostering a positive work environment. Lola, as poised as ever, continued to lead by example, mentoring junior staff and ensuring that the company culture remained inclusive and supportive. Dapo, with his newfound maturity, worked hard to earn the respect of his peers, proving that he was more than just the CEO's son. Together, they became a formidable team, inspiring everyone around them. Though their journey had been anything but conventional, Dapo and Lola found a rhythm that worked for them. They learned to navigate the complexities of their relationship with honesty and understanding, turning their past mistakes into lessons for the future. At work, they were a dynamic force, driving the company to new heights. At home, they built a life filled with love, laughter, and mutual respect. Their story, once marred by controversy and chaos, became a testament to the power of forgiveness and the strength of true partnership. Years later, as they sat together in the garden of their home, watching their children play, Dapo turned to Lola with a smile. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Lola laughed softly, leaning her head on his shoulder. "We have. And I wouldn't change a thing." Their love story, though unconventional, had become the fairy tale neither of them had expected. And as they gazed at the setting sun, they knew that the best was yet to come. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to be able to get our updates when we post a new video. Thank you for your support. We share a lot of love with you.